Hello all. So as a continuation of my lecture series in transmission and distribution, we have already discussed about what are all the main important parameters that has to be considered before we plan for a mechanical design of a transmission line, and what type of conductors which we use in order to transmit a healthy power from one place to another. So in this video, we are going to see about the types of conductors. So in the previous video, we have discussed only about the copper. So in this, we are going to discuss about the aluminum and steel materials and what are all the merits of conductors and what is line supports and types of poles that we can use. So coming to mechanical design, the conductor is the first part and line support is the second part, and third part is types of poles which we are going to use in order to erect a new overhead transmission line. So here we are going to discuss about aluminium. So aluminium, we all know it is a good conductor. Next to copper, aluminium is the conductor used in order to perform, of performance as far as the conductivity is concerned. So if we consider conductivity, then aluminium is the best metal that we can use in order to transmit electrical power. Coming to merits and demerits, it is cheaper than copper. So first one is it is cheaper than copper so that it can be preferred for long transmission lines. Then it is lighter in weight and it is second in conductivity. So in conductivity, if we see, aluminium plays the second place. And commercial hard down aluminium wire at stand temperature has approximately 60% of conductivity in comparison to a standard annealed copper wire. So it is of 60% conductivity, so this can be preferred. For same ohmic resistance, its diameter is about 12.7 times that of copper. At higher voltages, it causes less corona loss. So this can be preferred for higher voltages. Since the diameter of the conductor is more, it is subjected to greater wind pressure. Okay, so the swing of the conductor and greater in sag. So compared to copper wire, aluminium is greater in sag. Since the sag, we all know, when we place two conductors in the two poles, it will have a U-shaped structure. So it will not be straight. So that is what we call it as sag. So if we use aluminium wire, then the sag of the conductor is greater. So this may be avoided. But comparatively, it is cheaper and it is 60% conductivity. Then weight is also much lesser compared to copper wire. Since the conductors are liable to swing, it requires larger crosser arms. So we should support it with a larger crosser arms. As the melting point of the conductor is low, so the short circuit will damage it. So if some short circuit happens, then it will, the melting point, since the melting point of the conductor is low, then so it will damage. So joining of aluminium is much more difficult that of the other materials. So joining two wires is much more difficult in aluminium compared to other materials. So this is the merits and demerits of aluminium. Types of aluminium conductors is all aluminium conductor, all aluminium alloy conductors, and aluminium conductor steel reinforced and aluminium conductor alloy reinforced. So these are all the types of aluminium conductors. Coming to steel, it has got the greatest tensile strength, but it is least used for transmission of electrical energy as it has got high resistance. So bare steel conductors are not in use since it deteriorates rapidly owing to rusting. So rusting happens and galvanized steel wires are used. So galvanized steel can be used for electrical power transmission. Coming to properties of steel, it is lowest in conductivity, it has high internal reactance, it is subjected to eddy current and hysteresis loss. In a damp atmosphere, it is rusted, hence its use is limited. So since it has this type of property, low in conductivity, high internal reactance and rust properties, this is not used and its use is very limited. So coming to requirements of line supports. So what type of line support we need to prefer? It should be mechanically strong, it should be cheap, it should be light in weight, it should have less number of parts, and the maintenance cost should be minimum, and it should have a longer life, and it should have a pleasing shape. That is, the poles will be very visible, right? So it should have a pleasing shape in order to look good. So everywhere we see we have line supports, we have poles. So if it is of pleasant shape, the people around us also feel a good area which we live in. So these are all the main requirements of the line supports. So it should be mechanically strong, the cost should be low, it should have less number of parts, and it should have a pleasant shape, it should have a longer life, it should have a less maintenance, and it should have less weight without the loss of strength. So this is the main requirements of line supports. So coming to types of poles, what type of pole which we use is wooden pole, steel tubular poles, reinforced concrete poles, and steel towers. These are all the types of poles which we use in a transmission line structure. So coming to the assessment, when steel is reinforced, what happens to the composite conductor? So when a steel is reinforced, what happens? Either the weight will be equivalent, and it should be 35% or 25% more or less. So it is 25% less compared with equivalent weight of the conductor. If steel is reinforced, it will be 25% less. And why is ACSR conductors used, or the replacement or substitute of copper is economy. Economy is the main reason why we replace a copper with ACSR conductor. What is the function of steel wire in ACSR conductors? It provides additional mechanical strength. So that is the main function of steel wire in ACSR conductor. So in this video, we have discussed about the type of material aluminum and steel, and what are all the properties of steel, and what type of requirements for the line supports, with some assignments. Thank you.